doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. So today's video is going to be about Ziliqa. A comment made by this gentleman over here in my previous video about Kyber said he sold off Kyber about a week ago to buy more Ziliqa. And I'm always open to checking out different coins, checking out previous coins. And I had looked at Ziliqa like during the bull run 2017, 2018, and now and again in the last 2 years, but not properly for a while. So this comment made me obviously have a look at that again, and I was a bit taken back as to what's actually going on in the space of Zilliqa at the moment. So I thought, let me make a video about it and share what I found with everyone. So shout out to Praiser TV for that indirect tip-off, and let's get straight into it. So for those that don't know, Zilliqa is a high-performance, high-security blockchain platform for enterprises and next-generation applications. Zilliqa at a glance. So they're committed to delivering a scalable and secure platform for developers and enterprises who wish to build decentralized applications. And during the bull run and in around that time, that was their main USP, the fact that they're highly scalable and they have a high throughput of like thousands of transactions per second. And this was their kind of USP. They're a lot faster than like everything else in the market. And that's how they create a lot of hype. And they've been live since early 2019, so that's very good. They've been in production for over a year now. And the way that they've been able to kind of have this high throughput is they used a technology called sharding, which allows blockchains to scale in a linear fashion, and that ensures that the platform can scale to meet the needs of a growing ecosystem and miners and applications. And here's some of the other features like smart contracts that they have. So great project. I mean, there are quite a few projects that are trying to do something similar, like Tezos, Arc. They're all trying to build an ecosystem for developers to go and build applications on. The issue, though, is a lot of projects have fantastic technology, but at the end of the day, they don't have people actually developing or developers actually building projects on their platform. So it comes back to the main question: is it actually being used? That's probably that's always the big question in my mind. Is it actually being used, or is it realistically going to be used? But Zilliqa, in terms of price action, has absolutely been smashing it in the last couple of months, I'd say. Absolutely destroying the market, and I think it's because of the next couple of reasons. And that's obviously my opinion, not financial advice. But one of the reasons is the social media campaign that they ran early May called Social Pay, where they basically pay Twitter users to basically tweet about the project. It's quite simple, and it was very effective. So for 72 hours, they did this, and that was from the 9th to the 11th of May. And these were the results, which, as I said, were staggering. 45 million social engagement, the followers went up by 2,000, 7,500 successful registrations, retweets, and the payment would be in Zilliqa, which is a fantastic use case. A good incentive to get people to use the actual token, and likes and whatnot. So these are more of some of the results. And obviously this creates a lot of awareness. This brings a lot of attention to their project. And with this intention, you get people investing as well. And in my opinion, that's a big reason why, part of the reason why the price action has been so good. And we'll get into the technicals shortly as well, which is crazy. In this time at the moment right now, it's been absolutely crazy. So Lunar Crush, which measures social media engagement for cryptocurrencies and ranks them against Bitcoin, ranked Zilliqa very highly, or very high, first after Bitcoin, which obviously is fantastic. And in another kind of ranking, outstanding social activity, they ranked Ziliqa first. And these are some of the results and afterthoughts about the campaign that they ran. Again, I think it's a fantastic campaign. It does the job. It creates a lot of attention, brings people into the space. But the next, there has to be a follow-up. There can't just be hype created and then no follow-up. And the follow-up is the reason why I think that, part of the reason why the price action has been so good, and that is because of staking. So there's an upcoming staking upgrade which will be implemented very shortly. KuCoin Pool X is set to open on June the 18th. And that's going to be staking a seed node, which we'll look at in a second. So what this staking basically involves is they're going to be opening up staking for their seed nodes. And I looked into it a little bit more in terms of technical details. And so the main role of seed nodes is to serve as direct access points for end users and clients to the core Zilliqa network that validates transactions. So as archival nodes, they further maintain the entire transaction history and the global state of the blockchain, which is needed to provide services such as block explorers. Seed nodes can therefore be considered as an ancillary set of nodes that play a supporting yet critical role in the overall Zilliqa network architecture. Seed nodes are currently being run by several major exchanges, applications such as Zephyrs, and the Zilliqa team itself. Most of these seed nodes are, however, closed, i.e. they only serve the needs of the seed node operator and not the broader community. So the purpose of this is to propose a mechanism to open up some of these nodes and decentralize overall seed node architecture. To this end, a proper incentive mechanism must be put in place with the right monetary incentive. So basically they want to open up these seed nodes to the broader community. So they're going to create incentives for them to open up, their kind of closed communities and open up to the broader communities. Hopefully they can do this with kind of the incentives that Zilliqa will be providing in terms of staking rewards. And so there's obviously going to be, they go into more detail as into what kind of incentives they're going to provide and how they're going to manage it. But that's what their aim is, to open up these seed nodes to the benefit of the broader community and not just kind of their closed systems. So, it's going to be a big upgrade to kind of open that up. It's going to make it more decentralized because it's going to be opened up to more third-party actors. So now that we understand a little bit more about the actual staking mechanism that they plan to implement, let's have a look at what other projects they've got going on. So as you can see, they've got a few different projects that they're looking to implement. The one that catches my eye most is that they plan to add privacy features to Zilliqa. And the other one that catches my eye is this one, efficient smart contract sharding, leveraging certain properties of smart contracts for more efficient processing. So those two are catching my eye most. So in my opinion, those are two of the main reasons why the price action has been doing so well. And again, to repeat that is the social media campaign, which created a lot of awareness and attention and kind of eyes on the project, as well as the actual staking upgrade mechanism that they're going to be implementing as of the 18th of June, which is only just over a week from now. Another thing which doesn't have a massive effect, but still is nice to have a stamp of approval by someone big in the space, is Vitalik Buterin, after being questioned about Zilliqa, said that he acknowledges Zilliqa, firstly, and that was late May. And after being questioned a little bit more, he said that Ethereum has a lot of room to succeed and prosper, and he said the same thing about Zilliqa. So it's nice to get that kind of stamp of approval by Vitalik. I don't know how much he was actually badgered into saying that, but nonetheless, he still said it. and it's good to get that kind of approval from him. Now let's get to the technicals, the absolutely insane technicals on the weekly time frame here, and just look at that kind of parabolic rise, literally 6x since the bottom, and that was only late March, so just over 2 months ago. It's gained over 600%, over 6x since that point. It's broken past some strong resistance, absolutely smashed through them, a little bit retrace here, but I just kept going and going. It's now at a very, very strong level of resistance. So it's just broken past this level this week, but we haven't closed for the week just yet. But to be honest, you know, this kind of parabolic rise can never be sustained. In my opinion, you know, the chances of it closing past this point and continuing on is, I think it's low, just purely because of this rise. You know, it's just unsustainable to just keep going and going. There's going to be a retrace, and I don't know, I think the kind of social pay campaign might have attracted a lot of speculators that wanted to invest for the short term. So if I'm correct in that assumption, then I think, you know, a retrace to this level, potentially this level, is imminent. For that reason, I wouldn't invest in the project. Not financial advice, but I would not invest in the project because it's just kind of parabolic rise, can't be sustained. That's not to say that I won't be wrong. I can definitely be wrong, and it can keep going to the next level of resistance. I mean, there's literally nothing keeping there's nothing in between these two spaces, so at the same time it won't take a lot to get there, but I think this kind of rise, there's going to be a massive pullback imminently. I think that's just going to happen, and I think this level of support or the next level will be where it's going. You know, the first question that I posed in terms of is it actually being used, I think, you know, is what I'm thinking about. You know, how many projects have actually been built on the Zilliqa platform? You know, I've looked around, I haven't seen a lot. So it might just be a couple of dApps that have been built on it, but it's not really a strong use case. So I don't know if it can sustain this kind of price action, or if it's sustainable long term, even if it just doesn't sustain these kind of prices. I mean, unless it keeps doing these kind of social pay campaigns, unless it keeps incentivizing people to tweet about so they can earn a little bit of ZIL, maybe it can continue doing this, but that's not really a long-term use case. So for that reason, I'm not very confident in this price action being sustained. You know, you can see in the volume that it's been rising very strongly ever since the campaign started. And as of, if we move to the daily, you can see that the peaks have been decreasing quite a lot since the beginning of June. So it could be a case of people, you know, the early accumulators could be looking to, you know, drop their bags off at this point, and therefore we could be seeing a sharp drop back to lower levels. My money would be on that as opposed to seeing more gains. But as I said, I could be wrong. So let's see what happens. Just be careful if you do invest in a project. Dollar cost average is always the best way. And, you know, have your stop loss in mind. So that'll be all for this video. I hope you got some value from it. Good project. I think the price action is not sustainable. I think we're probably due for a massive retrace shortly. But again, I could be wrong. There's not a lot of resistance from this point on to the next level of resistance, next major point anyway. So again, could be wrong. We could see some more price action, but the volume has been decreasing a lot recently. So again, this kind of leans towards the case of kind of that retrace happening. So let's see what happens in the next couple of days, couple of weeks, how the project continues. Peace.